27 minutes. We don't have a clock today. I lost the clock. I am not buying a new clock. We're just going to have to deal with no more clock. My name is Ken.
And I'm Scott.
And welcome to Postconsumers. We have three special guests today. A returning guest, Christian Smith.
Welcome.
Christian, I really didn't even introduce you properly last time after the beginning of the show.
That's right, you did.
I didn't. I really didn't.
What
Would
were
you
we
just tell us about yourself, Christian?
Really interested in sustainability and local economics, and yeah, I like being a part of the Mid-Michigan Time Bank as well, and yeah, I like being a part of this particular talk show.
Excellent. Thank you. We also have Larry. Larry.
I'm the band today.
Speak up, Larry. Great. Larry is our band. And who else?
Paige.
Paige. We have Paige. Paige, tell us about yourself.
Local poet.
Come closer, Paige, to our recording unit.
Scooch.
Low
Scooch.
technology means
Scooch.
more closeness.
Our studio is state of the art.
Yes. We are on location, by the way.
Yes.
On
the road.
We are on the road.
Postconsumers.
It's still in Lansing.
Still in Lansing.
Or is it?
Yeah, who knows?
You don't really know.
Nobody
that, do you?
does, except I probably put the location tag on this file.
I'm sure the CIA knows. Why this
somebody
is happening.
knows. Somebody knows. So today's topic is economic inequality and/or what did we say before? What did we say
Wealth.
before? Wealth
Gap.
Much more poignant, I think. Wealth gap. So, Scott, you said it earlier.
The question is, how do we define wealth?
That is a good question.
Yep.
That is a good question. I think from what I saw out of Obama's speech, some of us have seen his State of the Union. He said, wealth apparently seems to mean money. He seems to say, it only has to do with money, and there's a lot of people at the top who have a lot of wealth in his definition.
The 1%.
The 1%. But I don't think he said that specifically. He's trying to avoid probably Occupy terminology, and that's fine. But he said everything short of we should start taxing the rich.
But his plan actually calls for taxing the rich in order to pay for some of his new programs and tax cuts.
Right. And I think that's the only way we're going to close this gap.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to be by force. It's not going to be because they just give it up willingly.
We've dealt with trickle down for, how many years has that turned? Reagan, right? Reagan
Since the 80s.
Yeah, and it's not working. It's not working at all.
Yeah. So like 90% tax rate. Like we did that 60 years ago. We could do it again.
Yeah.
We could pay for a lot of infrastructure that we vitally need right now.
Right.
We have failing infrastructure, and we need more for climate adaptation.
Right.
So we need a lot of money. Well, where is it? Well, it's in the hands of the 1%, both in the United States and worldwide. They
are essentially hoarding the wealth of this nation.
Yeah.
They really are. And he has. What's that for, Larry? Oh, little dun dun dun. Thank you, Larry. Very nice. Very nice.
Isn't good?
So yeah, it's been since the 80s that we have given them the opportunity to keep their money in hopes that they will be those job creators. When's the last time you guys heard that term? I have not heard the term job creator in probably 5 years, really. They
trickle down, for that matter.
Yeah, people are, it's like they don't want, don't remind us about that. Don't bring up those terms anymore, because we know that's not happening.
We knew this was a bad idea even 100 years ago. Like, the right wing has become so disconnected from their past. Like, Teddy Roosevelt was quoted as saying, if we don't have a really high estate tax, we're going to create a wealthy, moneyed, powerful class that can control the whole system.
Right.
That's exactly what happened. They took away the estate taxes. They took away high income taxes much later. I mean, they did have them high relatively for a little bit and got done public works with them. Yeah. But it just went away after they got back the power again. And not to
and then they opened up all that deregulation too. Yep. I mean, derivatives are a ridiculous notion. I mean, it's. Does anybody I mean, some of that stuff is just so. It has nothing to do with anything material, but it's just so much abstraction and just earning money on interest, and there's nothing to back it up.
A lot of it is legalized gambling.
Totally.
It's legal because there's so much money in it. That's why it's legal.
Yeah. Well, the government has
its own way.
Yeah, the government has supported it and backs it up, and so everybody is now doing this.
I just want to point out that the hoarded wealth is hoarded energy. It's like the ability to do work. So
Right.
we could provide jobs with it, or we could just like do massive public works things. We could replant entire forests across the plains or whatever,
Right.
or orchards, or huge public works projects dealing with stormwater overflow and all these things we vitally need to do. Or even just switching over to green energy,
Right.
shutting down all coal plants and putting a lot of money into building solar panels everywhere that we need to.
Right.
So we could do that,
Right.
but all that is locked up because
No, in what we defined as wealth, and I think you're onto a better point there as far as infrastructure too. I mean, everybody, right now in Michigan, we're complaining hugely about our roads. We've decided to the best our legislator can come up with is an increase in the sales tax.
Right.
That's how they think they're going to pay for these infrastructure things. That's where they're going to squeeze the money out of instead of squeezing it from the top. I mean, this anybody that studies this even remotely knows that a raise in the sales tax is going to disproportionately overburden the poor and middle class. Because I got to buy a loaf of bread for $1, now it's $1.07.
Well, sales tax doesn't apply to food, which is really nice for the poor.
Okay. What does it apply to?
Consumer goods and if you want to buy a car,
Okay.
I think it applies to that.
Sure. Material, anything. Okay, so anything.
Michigan
Clothing
Citizens
too.
Lobby. Michigan Citizens Lobby back in the 70s got rid of the sales tax on food.
Really?
Okay.
And so
Good
that was
history lesson.
that was a big movement then back in the 70s because it was a disproportionate tax because a higher percentage of a poorer person's income would be affected.
Well, there you go. I mean, so there you go. I mean,
That
there's
was
all.
That's a food and
That was a success.
food and things like that.
Right.
But goods like you're
Right.
talking about.
So just in case
would
anybody.
be going up to 7%
Right.
or 8%. I mean, that's
7%, I think.
Yeah, 7%. But food is not going to be included in
Well,
that.
technically, it hasn't since I forgot the date, but it was the late 70s.
But
I'd say
toilet
early
paper, other
80s.
necessities.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other necessities in life other than that. And the fact that they admit it for food, it should cross the board. What's the damn difference? I mean, it's still,
It's about necessities.
Yeah, I got to buy gas. Anytime you put a sales tax on anything, the people that have to buy things are going to get more burdened.
Yeah.
And the people that are already rich, it's just totally disproportionate. What has to happen is an income, a higher income tax and an estate tax, and a higher tax on anybody that's got on their interest that they're getting off the bank. I mean, you can be a millionaire and just live off the interest. I mean,
how about luxury items tax too?
Luxury items? I mean, there's so many other things that should be taxed than the stuff people need day to day.
What were you going to say, Paige?
Yeah, go ahead, Paige.
Not only that, but you can then be the millionaire and get more money on interest, and then not only do that, but then be a big part of the legislation and push force and political force that allows you to maintain what you have.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything.
Well, you have a lot of lobbying to do.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
Pay the lobbyists to do that.
Yeah, if you're living, that $1 million goes a long way.
Yep.
If you're only living off the 4% that you need, really. I mean, if you could do that, you could. I mean, that's the thing too. It's like the rich are just trying to pile up so much because they know
They get richer the more they have.
Yeah, they get richer the more they have. It's at a certain saturation point. You might as well be infinitely wealthy because we keep backing, wealthy by definition of money.
Well, what I was just hearing was what it's like to be really rich, extraordinarily rich, and like the different levels of rich. Like what it's like to be a 10 millionaire versus a 100 millionaire versus a billionaire. And he said after like 10 or 20 million, you can go on any, vacation, you have many homes, different places.
There's not a dream you can't make come true that money can buy.
But you can't buy certain things when you're a 20 millionaire versus a billionaire. Because what you get as you get really high levels of wealth is access to different people. So if you're a billionaire, you're treated as like a head of state. So
absolutely. You are. Essentially, you are now.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
You control the majority of shares in some company, in some publicly traded companies. So you have so much weight to throw around.
Yeah.
You can meet with a governor, you can meet with a president, you can lobby to the highest levels of.
You're untouchable because you are a part of that corporate persona that you obviously must be a part of, because there's no billionaires out there that isn't part of some Inc. somewhere that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, you're every one of them is tied to evil at that level. Okay, I mean, billion dollar companies. I don't care
Oprah's pretty cool.
Who you are or what you're doing. You're evil.
Oprah's pretty cool.
You've decided you're going to just keep that much coming in.
Yes.
It's not money. It's the security day to day, knowing you can get what you want and need, and assuming that all of what you want and that all of that security is more important. You're more important than anyone else's goddamn.
Then that's the definition of a sociopath to me. I mean, I've anybody.
They're pretty smart. I mean, look at them, right? I mean, they believe it.
Some of them are born into it, though. That's my biggest problem. It's like, okay, you were ruthless enough to scratch your way to the top. I guess, okay. But still, when you die, most of that should go back into the pot. Not even to your family. That's just not right. It's just not right that people are born with so much privilege.
Yeah, even being born with $1 million versus $500 million or whatever. It's
or
like
nothing.
It's basically the oligarchy. Or plutocracy, but it's basically a bunch of kings and princes, and they have so much power. They're born into these kingdoms, like the latest Rockefeller. It's a kingdom. It's a prince, and then they can go around and slap wealth around. And some of them are philanthropists because they grow up and then they're not ruthless. They're just born with a bunch of money, so they don't have to claw to the top. Well, and some of them really care about good things. For instance, the time banking, the software we use, the Time Bank, was done by Rockefeller. So really generous, awesome people.
Interesting.
And then there's a foundation in West Michigan that funds farmland preservation because he was the son of a furniture rich man or whatever. But anyway, so he's the Wege Foundation.
Case?
No, Wege Foundation, but it might have been Steelcase.
I mean, the company that made the furniture is on there.
I think it might have been that.
Okay.
But anyway, but there's generous people out there.
There are. But they're too few and far between.
Agreed.
Right
Agreed.
I mean, everybody's got their bad apples and everybody's got their great apples, but I don't know. We got to start spreading around some apples because
there's a lot of shit that needs to be done.
There's a lot of hungry people.
And wealth isn't just the gathering of goods or directing that.
Absolutely right. That's true.
There's the other idea, and I think it goes back to that demurrage fee idea. And wealth then for these merchants at this point was making sure that all of those things timed up well, nothing could go to waste. You made sure that goods were moved and people were matched well, and business was about making smooth exchanges and making it happen well. And if you weren't monitoring that well, you were feed. That was the job. And now it's not. Wealth or accumulating and saying you're a good businessman isn't making sure that things are being exchanged well or that commerce is going well.
Right. Profit is the only motive. Yeah, get money, get profit. I mean, it used to be a corporation had to be approved by the government. I mean, on a much higher authority than, what was it? With not the 350 guy. The guy, I can't remember now. But anyways, I'm trying to remember it. Basically, if you wanted to be a corporation, it wasn't just some paperwork you filed. It had to be approved by, the House and Senate, basically, at the time. I mean, and you had to have a statement in there of public good. In order to be a
corporation.
Yeah, in order to be a corporation.
When it was originally formulated in the 1800s.
Yeah, and it was a charter that had to be renewed after a certain number of years.
Yeah,
right.
And
if the corporation did not live up to the public good that the public granted that corporation of that charter, it was pulled.
Right. That's long since gone.
They're too dangerous to not have a tight regulation by the commons because, or else they can accumulate too much power. So it's like they had
or else they become sociopaths.
They become states and then transnationals and then Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a movement called Move to Amend.
But that's the guy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't remember the guy
Go
in charge of it.
MoveToAmend.com.
Yep.
David.
I went to see him. I went to see him
So did
speak.
I. Yeah, we both did. We were there.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now.
I can't either. God, he was a great speaker.
Yeah, he was a Green Party presidential candidate.
Okay.
In like 84 or something like that.
Maybe by the end of the show we'll figure it out.
We will.
But so that guy,
I
went to see him talk, and he talked about the corporate. That was the first time I really understood the history of the corporation, and I was flabbergasted. That this used to mean an entity that, they were out to make a buck, but, they had to bring everybody along with them,
Yeah. It's not very incorporating anymore, is it?
No, not exactly. The word meant something much different back then, didn't it? That makes,
so how do we reincorporate
community.
Normal folks back into the economy again? And that's where I think Time Bank comes back.
I think the word we use now is community, because incorporated has become a horrible, dirty word now.
Well, we were thinking about the differences between a legal entity and just a community group. Like, how much do we want to be like the bureaucracy, essentially?
Right.
How much do we want to mimic the system that's not working so great for most things?
Exactly.
Most public
exactly.
things.
And that's something that's, as far as our time bank work goes, we're trying to figure out maybe a new way of structuring that. It's different than... top down, we want to go from the bottom up.
Yeah, do we want to be board meetings, or do we want to be just community meetings, talking with neighbors and friends?
Right.
It's about labels and thinking differently, too.
Yeah, and that's just, I guess that's just our typical American upbringing. It's like, we're going to start something, so we're going to stay in charge of it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Is that where it stemmed from? I don't know.
It's tough questions. David Cobb has moved to
David Cobb, thank you. Someone with a phone that isn't recording the meeting.
And they have actually, and this was, just maybe a year and a half ago, I last checked the update. They have gotten the proposal on, I think it was like 7 or 8 state ballots.
That's cool.
To amend
a constitution, To
amend,
move to amend.
The state constitutions that any corporations operating have to adhere to sort of the original spirit of what we were just talking about, and to remove the
Citizens
personhood.
United. That's their main focus.
How did those bills go? Sorry,
I don't remember. They were on the ballot,
but they're trying to get
because there was a hard push, and I don't remember.
I think the big push is to get the constitutional amendment to get Citizens United repealed, and then
that's the first step.
And language that it can never happen again.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that maybe you're speaking the specifics of the language. But that's what I know about it. So and that's. I was listening to NPR the other day, going to my farmer meeting thing. And this guy was on there. He was basically a mercenary, smart sounding guy.
Mercenary as in military mercenary?
Yeah. But he just talked about it like it was a job and how he'd get these deployments. And he liked it. It was all about how the private sector militia is rising. We've got privatized prisons. We've got privatized so many things that shouldn't be privatized.
We have privatized army too.
We already do have privatized armies, and he's talking about how this is going to be the new trend, and even he's worried that the day's going to come when an oligarch, a trillionaire, which already exists, by the way, people out there. I don't know if you know that, but there's definitely trillionaires walking our world now.
I did not know that.
Of course there are.
Shadow trillionaires?
Yeah, there have to be. The people. I mean.
Some alien entity.
Greed
is good.
All you got to do is just figuring out the math of it. There's got to be.
Aren't there corporations worth $1 trillion?
Certainly.
Well, then they are the entities you're talking about. To me. I mean,
so the people in charge of these entities.
Somebody's got to fight James Bond. Come on.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like
might as well be Monsanto.
I'm going to bring up my media catharsis theory because we still got a good 10 minutes to talk here.
I want James Bond to attack Monsanto.
Well,
that's the next James Bond.
Exactly. That's
okay,
good. We're never going to see that.
I want to go back to roads. Can we go back to roads for a second?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
This is where I think arts and public art projects and gatherings are absolutely essential to get the word out. When you do like Adopt a Pothole and art and mosaic art and you get that out, I think that is one of the easiest, safest ways to promote a peaceful way of saying as citizens on the ground level, please do something here.
Right. But, right now, the thing that wants to get done, that's a great idea, but right now I'm just, You just have to make sure it's not used for me, a horrible idea of raising the sales tax. Because right now, that's
Art?
well, no, I'm just saying to do the road thing. Because right now, that's the push. And I'm just worried anybody pushing anything right now to fix the roads is just going to, well, that's what the government wants. So, fix the roads. Okay, I'm going to vote yes.
And I think
Don't vote yes on this, people. Do not vote yes on this. They are screwing you over. They are squeezing from a rock when they got to start squeezing the sponges, as usual.
Good way of putting it.
All right.
But
time
no,
we got left?
we still got we got tons of time,
I'm
tons of
still
time.
totally down for this idea of turning these city parking meters that were just shut off, and they can't fix the potholes, and they can't clean up their parking lot. And could they get reuse of these meters and say, okay, how about local people? You don't have
What
to
what are you
pay.
what were you talking about?
I'm referring to on Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
And what they're trying to do in getting their parking lot fixed. And the meters were turned off, so people don't have to pay for parking anymore. But
Okay.
now no repairs are happening.
They're just letting nature take
could
the parking lot
could
back.
these local
Wow.
business owners who are organizing could say, could we just use these parking meters and say, look, you don't have to pay to sit here, but if you'd like to invest in this and drop a dime here and there when you park here once in a while, that'd be really great. We could organize our own way of
And the
getting
city's
this
not
cleaned
letting
up.
them do that?
I think that there's a lot of stuff up in the air about what they're going to be allowed to do, and it's young. But this is where public art comes in to get the word out, I think.
Okay.
About what
This
the need
needs-
is.
Well, what kind of a project?
This
Yeah,
needs
that's great.
to happen.
Cheers.
No,
This
that's
needs
a great
to
idea.
happen.
That is another
Yeah.
the roads are
Very
that's totally
safe,
independent
too.
project. Yeah.
It's
So
just art, man.
how do you what do you want to do with that?
Could we just make the parking lot better graveled and then put a sign up that says free parking?
At
donate
least
what
fill
you
the
can,
holes with gravel for now, right? Maybe something like that.
and then put up a little mural or sign or something.
Okay.
That's
Definitely, you can definitely do some Zen mosaic art and potholes. Do some one of the shop owners mentioned. Let's put some buckets out and do adopt a pothole, and see what we come up with when folks go by.
Or you know what? Take a big picture of it, and have them all circled and numbered, and then write your name. Which one do you want? How about
Do
that?
some art.
But they will be messed up with people driving over them. But that's the nature of Zen, I
And-
guess.
and
No,
the other
that's
thing is,
it's a parking lot. You're always going to be repairing it. That's just
And
how
the
it
other
works.
thing is, you could definitely just do a special event saying, we could get permission from the city. Hey, we'd really like to do this. Can we try it for a day and put the promotional stuff out there, and people could be doing that and say, this is truly community supported. We'd like to get this up and running and
Right.
turn it into an event.
That's a good idea.
We
Good
should
idea.
do this.
I think it's going to the roads
Hey,
because
challenge accepted. If
I-
you, seriously, Paige is on it.
right. Well, let's start.
Careful.
If anybody listening to this wants to help out Paige, leave a comment and we'll get the emails to her. Yeah. So, but the roads
Did
in
we say
general,
what?
though.
Did we say what parking lot that was?
Oh yeah, more or less.
Michigan Avenue.
Michigan
Right
Avenue behind the-
Everybody reads.
Green
Okay.
door, the green door,
Yep.
and the
And
avenue.
the
It's in
avenue.
Lansing, Michigan, for our international audience out
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
They're out there.
And
I'm
Michigan
sure.
is in northern
Wanting people to have the
United
right
States.
to raise money to go towards the things that they need.
Right.
Business owners should have a right to be able
Right.
to direct that in
I-
some way, and I would like to help encourage that if they would like to.
Yeah. Well, people with money.
I wonder
Please
if you could
please
apply
start
that
throwing
same
it around.
concept on like roadways. How would you apply that?
Well, that's an adopt a highway sort of thing.
Yeah, what
But
if-
there's not like art.
a voluntary toll.
Mm.
Like make all roads sort of tollways, but
Just throw
not.
some spare change in it.
Yeah, if you
Hey,
like
do
the
an
condition of this
experiment
road
right
and you
here,
think it's
you know?
smooth and you like the artwork along the side, throw in a couple of bucks. This is a non-profit thing. It's not affiliated with the government, but it would have to be sort of because
It's going to come down to that because
you know.
if this ballot proposal is going to fail, I mean, people are not going to
I
get
don't know.
suckered into this.
They might be.
They might be.
There'll be great media on it.
There'll be-
news and
There will.
advertisements.
They're going to push for it. They're going to push real hard. But we got to push back because yes, we need the roads fixed. I
But the point
totally
is,
agree
it's
with
just
that.
getting annoying that the taxes are not going to supporting our every damn day.
Right.
They are going to bigger corporations, and these
Yeah.
smaller businesses, when they band together, need
Yeah.
as much community damn support as they can get.
Yeah, we're giving plenty of money to the government in taxes already. They need to stop taking it from people like us, and they got to start taking it from the true sponges.
Take note of that, all you libertarians and Republicans out there. What was just said. The issues we are talking about here are not partisan. They're not political. They have to do with our daily lives and our daily paychecks.
That's absolutely true.
And the way that we live our lives and what we spend our wealth on.
A sales tax.
Nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans or political philosophy.
It just has to do with sensible taxation of getting the money where the money is.
Can we tax the bribes that go on at the Capitol? Because Lansing would make buco bucks if we could just tax all the bribes and all the different campaign promises that happen in Lansing municipality.
Now, there are supposedly requirements to track that kind of stuff.
I wonder.
Okay, I'm sure they're followed to a T and a period.
I wonder now if this now that they do control everything on the Michigan level, the Republicans, I wonder if they're shooting themselves in the foot, because it's like nobody's going to bribe them. They already got control.
See, there are official bribes and unofficial bribes.
Yeah?
Sure.
The unofficial bribes are the ones that everybody's kind of familiar with, under the table.
Mm-hmm.
But lobbying is official bribery.
Campaign donations.
Yeah. When I worked at General
PACs
Motors...
and super PACs, political action committees, I mean, it's just, you can just dump all kinds of money.
We should tax those by 50%.
It's
Hey,
unbelievable how much
tax.
money flies
What would
around.
that do?
Politics, oh my God, campaign season, which never ends really anymore. I mean, but the big push to it. I mean, that's
Public
media.
finance.
That's media's bread and butter. I mean, TV and radio, those ads are beaucoup bucks. That is like election season to a TV station is like their Black Friday.
Yeah.
It is.
Really?
Oh, totally.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I had no
I wasn't
idea.
an ad guy. I don't know the exact numbers, but I don't know. I'd throw out probably 25% of their revenue is I mean, they probably,
Annual revenues?
I don't
to
know.
a TV station
I don't know.
Comes from
Could be.
I'm gonna have to look that
political
up, but it's huge numbers. It's huge numbers, and we're checking out the time here on the show, real quick. I think we're close. 26 minutes. All right, one more minute, everybody. Any final thoughts, Christian?
Final thoughts. One word story.
Oh, he's doing improv.
No, not that.
No,
thing
no
again.
improv.
That always ends up.
No improv. All right. So his
Yeah.
final thought was okay. And Larry, anything you want to close out with?
Song to leave
Larry,
us
give us a
with.
closing song. All right. Paige. Song? That's your closing thought? All right. Scott, you?
Peace.
All right. Yeah. Ditto from me. Larry, take us out of here. You have been listening to Ken and Scott, Postconsumers. I'm Ken.
I'm Scott.
See y'all next time.
Bye.